Hey everybody, and welcome to the Hopcast.
Thanks for joining us again, everybody.
I'm Brad Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Hunnemeder.
And it's October time.
Yeah.
We got Oktoberfest, Harvest Ales are out,
Yeah,
and pumpkin beers.
pumpkin beers, and we do this. We do one of these every year where we taste different pumpkin beers, and we've had quite a few that we really enjoyed. Some that we not so much.
It's getting hard to find them, where you've kind of run the gamut here.
Especially trying to find new ones that you haven't had before. But we've got a couple today here that we're going to do, and we have one from Lakefront, which is fairly close to us up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We've had it a bunch of times, but we've never actually reviewed it on the
Right.
show here. And then we also have Pumpkinhead from Shipyard.
Right, and Jake had extra bottle laying around, so he's like, it's for you guys. So
Shut up! All right, so let's get all spiced up.
So we got the Lakefronts Lager, and this is just an ale, right?
Yes.
So probably start with the lager.
Let's do it. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. I heard this beer described as not a lawnmower beer, but a leaf raking beer.
Oh, okay.
So should be nice and sessionable, and I think that's what we've experienced in the past with this beer too. So
Cool.
I think we should start there.
Poured out like orangey pumpkin color.
Yeah, nice and bright, so nice and clear.
There.
It's got a nice little head on it, and yeah, basically, what any pumpkin ale should look like. Nice, just looks like a pumpkin for the most part. On the nose, there's some spice there with your typical pumpkin ale, pumpkin pie spices.
The cinnamon, nutmeg,
Right, allspice, a little bit of that in there.
clove.
That type of thing. But it also mixes well with the spiciness of the hop. I think they picked a variety of hops that was a little bit more spicy than maybe a European style or something like that, as opposed to maybe an aggressive citrusy American style hop.
Yeah.
So it goes well with those baking spices.
Yeah, because you almost get like the pepper tingle.
Right. And that's what's kind of cool about this beer. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about with the pepper. Is just like on the nose, the mixing of those two different spice components is pleasant.
Should we dive in?
Let's do it. Cheers. Yeah, you get a little kind of a meaty body. So a little bit more substantial of a body than, say your typical lager.
Mm-hmm.
Pills or what have you, maybe even a Kolsch. But
And the spices are pretty dominant up front. And then you got that meaty, malty pumpkin in the middle, and then it finishes really clean though.
yeah, it's a very well balanced beer because you're right. You do get a little bit of that sweetness in the middle there, but your finish is nice and dry, like it should be. So there's nothing really like cloying about it. But your spice presence is there, which is good to see in a pumpkin beer. But not overwhelming the palate by any stretch.
No, yeah, and I think you're gonna get a lot of spice because the it's pretty strong in the aroma, and then really well balanced.
Yeah, very very much so. So this is a good one from our buddies up in Milwaukee at Lakefront.
Yeah, and they do a pretty good tour up there, right? We were there.
Yeah.
What was that? 4 years?
Must
3
have
years?
been 4 years ago, I would say. And we had a guy named Nitro, and
Damn, you remember his name? Oh.
Yeah, and he was pretty ridiculous. And we had a smashing good time. We were probably a little ridiculous ourselves at that point because we were doing a bunch of different tours. We did Sprecher. Did we do Miller or no?
No,
did we not make it?
Miller. We did some other place either afterwards or before that too.
Yeah, that was kind of a rough day, but we had a good time over at Lakefront.
Well, I mean, the brewery is pretty good size, like that hall where everyone was hanging out before the tour. Like,
Yeah.
It's pretty big. Like, it's just a huge open hall, like a cafeteria almost.
Right.
That serves beer.
Yeah, it's almost like an old German beer hall, you know, that kind of thing. They're not open all the time, but I think they do dinner on Friday and Saturday nights, and it's packed up there. It's like they must do some pretty good food. We weren't able to get a table, I don't remember.
I think we were sitting down, but we were focused on drinking.
We were drinking, but I remember them doing a fish fry or something like that. It must be pretty tasty because there was a ton of folks hanging out there.
Nice. So. Yeah, and they do good beers, well balanced beers. I feel like is like their thing because they have that gluten free beer that.
Is that the ESB?
I think so.
Okay.
You don't see too many people with gluten free beer, and just their beers are all nice and sessionable and.
Yeah, right. They've got one of my favorites that they make is their River West Stein beer. So it's another lager, kind of a darker lager, and it's also along the lines of everything else, very well balanced, and it's just that's a tasty beer. So yeah, we're fans. We are fans. So, yeah, we're gonna finish these up though, and move on to the next.
No problem knocking that back.
Not at all. Not at all. It's, one of those beers that's perfect on when it's starting to get a little chilly outside.
Zip up.
Yeah, exactly. We've got our fleeces and our hoodies on, so we're ready for pumpkin beers.
Not
Mine's
ready.
actually orange too.
Oh, my long johns are orange.
TMI, Brad. TMI. All right, so moving on to a gift we got from Jake. This is the Shipyard Pumpkinhead, and we've had they actually have 2 pumpkin beers. So as part of their little they have a series of beers called the Pugsley series, and they make a beer called Smashed Pumpkin, and we've done that before, and now we have the Pumpkinhead.
So is that in a 22?
It was in a 22.
Okay.
And I'm forgetting whether we actually did it on the show or we just drank it on our own, but I remember drinking it, but
okay.
and it was good. So yeah, without further ado, Pumpkinhead.
That's a lot lighter.
Yeah, much lighter in the color than the Lakefront.
Like I would almost think that would have been. We mixed up the bottles. This would be the lager.
Right.
Still a fluffy head on yours.
Yeah. I think I was maybe a little bit more rigorous in the pour. But yeah, there's a nice amount of carbonation in there. The aroma is pretty different. This one's a little bit more creamy, and then the spice is just kind of an underlaying quality.
Yeah. Almost like more... Maybe more like nutmeg, maybe more of the sweeter spice or...
Yeah, I get primarily cinnamon is what I'm getting. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pleasant aroma because it's not overly done or anything like that. It's pretty subtle. But yeah, let's dive in. Cheers.
Well, there's a lot of carbonation.
There's a lot of carbonation, and there's a lot more spice in the mouth than there is, on the nose.
Less meaty pumpkin than the Lakefront.
Right.
Which I'm kind of missing. It's like a missing pumpkin.
Yeah, you get nice sweetness, but there's not. You don't get as much of the body. So. Yeah, it's just not as quite as chewy as the other beer was. Yeah. Not that the other one was super chewy, but it had some substantial body to it.
Yeah. I think if you're not wanting the spices in there, this could be a better option for you than the Lakefront. Like some people are like, no spices. I want a spicy pumpkin beer, and some people don't. I would go with this one over the Lakefront.
I'm actually getting a lot of spice on it. This one's just, I think it's more of kind of one aggressive spice as opposed to the other.
The balance and...
Where it was, they have different kinds of spices. I'm just getting a lot of cinnamon on this. And I find it pleasant. I'm a fan of, you know, spice beers and pumpkin beers as long as they're done, you know, so that it's not too much.
Yeah.
And I don't find this necessarily too much, but
No,
it's on the verge.
Not too much. If I wanted a pumpkin beer though, I would have to pick the Lakefront one.
Mm-hmm.
Like something's missing in this beer for me.
It's probably that body. Maybe you're just lacking a little bit of body.
But it's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's a nice beer.
And it didn't have an ABV on it, but like probably around like 6, right?
6 at the most, I would say, probably. You know, somewhere in that 5 to 6 range. It's a nice sessionable, you know, beer. So I mean, it doesn't seem too aggressive or anything as far as alcohol perception is concerned.
And so Shipyard, they're up in Portland, Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many breweries up there, right? That we.
Well, you've got Allagash out that way, but other than that, I can't really think of, you know, a whole handful of breweries out there. I'm sure there are that we just don't know about.
I should start sending a beer to us then.
It's always a good idea.
You know, if I haven't heard of you, you should probably send the beer.
That's the one thing my apartment needs is more beer.
Oh yeah. I see some space in the corner.
Yeah, there's space. I'm gonna make some room. Just push them down. But yeah, always a lovely time of year when the fall beers start coming around, whether they be Harvest Ales or Oktoberfest or pumpkin beers. That's time of year I always look forward to.
And those pumpkin beers creep in early and earlier. It's like they're gone now. Like,
I think you got people that are trying to sneak into the market before to be the first one out and just sell a bunch of beer.
Mm-hmm. And then when Halloween comes and everyone's like, I want a pumpkin beer for my party.
It's all gone.
Damn.
Well, either way, get it quick because they will sell out.
All right, so those Christmas ales should be coming, so buy them up now.
They're out. They're out now.
They'll be gone. They'll be gone before December.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cheers, and thank you for watching another episode of Hopcast.